Welcome to a new week here on the Retirement Quick Tips podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Micciche, co-owner of True North Retirement Advisors, a fee-only fiduciary financial advisory practice managing over $400 million in client assets. Here on this podcast, I help you plan, save, and invest wisely to hopefully live a more fulfilling and financially secure retirement. And I do all that with brief daily actionable tips to help you on your retirement journey. I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for making this podcast part of your routine and spending a few minutes with me each day. All right, so the theme this week is reflections on my no spend October. I'm actually recording this it's 9:12 p.m. on Halloween. I just got back about an hour ago trick-or-treating with my kids. And it was the longest trick-or-treating that I've done with my kids. My oldest collected 142 pieces of candy. So we were out there for a while in the rain. But I thought, even though my no spend October is not technically over, I still have 2 hours and 48 minutes. It's not over yet, but I think I'm going to make it. I think I'll make it until midnight. I did basically the whole month of October. I didn't spend anything except on the necessities. And so I'll talk about that and some of the rules that I set out for myself, some of the fails that I had because I wasn't perfect. I had some missteps along the way where I spent money where I didn't necessarily intend to. I'll talk about some things that I learned. I learned a lot actually this past month, and it was helpful because I knew I was going to talk about it on the podcast. So I was intentional about making notes and jotting down some thoughts and ideas and feelings that I had as I was doing this no spend month. But if you haven't heard of this before, it's actually kind of a popular thing. If you Google no spend month, you'll find a lot of information about it. It's a really popular thing to do right after the holidays, so like January. But I actually loved doing it in October because I don't really have a lot going on in October. It's before the holidays, but I feel like in January, when you have this reset of the new year, there's a lot of other distractions and things competing. But it's a good idea to do kind of in the new year after the holidays. I'll talk about why I enjoyed my no spend month, why I picked up some new habits that I'm going to continue. Making a list. I'll talk about the importance of list making to kind of curb impulsive spending. And then I'll lay out some guidelines to consider for yourself if you're going to embark on a no spend month. So I'll talk about some considerations, some ways to set yourself up for success if you decide to have one of these on your own. I really encourage you to do this. If you haven't done it before, I learned so much. It's great for if you have a spending problem and you're trying to curb bad spending habits, if you're overspending, especially if more money has been going out the door lately than what's coming in every month. It's a great way to kind of reset that. But even if you don't have a spending problem, even if you don't have excess debt, it's a great character building thing to do. It helps to increase your willpower. It helps you to build fortitude. So I'll talk about that at length this week, but I'm excited to talk about this. I spent a lot of time, reflecting on this and thinking about it because I knew I was going to talk about it on the show. I loved my no spend month. I'm definitely going to do it again. Maybe not live in such austerity all the time, but I did learn a few things and it was just a very peaceful month overall. I felt like life was a bit more simple. I wasn't as distracted by things that I wanted or needed to buy. So I'm excited to share this with you and come on back tomorrow because I'm going to talk about my own personal rules for a no spend month, kind of laying the foundation for what I consider, because there's different ways to do this. There's not just a right way and a wrong way. So I'll talk about some rules that I set up for myself and some compromises that I knew I would have to make because of some unique circumstances that I had in the month of October. All right. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Ashley Micciche, and this is the Retirement Quick Tips podcast.